tomorrow, snow likely throughout the day with continued cold temperatures, a high of just 1 above. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 18th is 15% off chocolates, 15% off wines and spirits, and $10 off filet mignon per pound. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
.93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Early break. Kevin says, the old days were absolutely not better times. Lots of hardships. Life in 2025 is better than ever.
Oh, I love when we get these jokes back. I love
Good joke, good
I love
one.
the joke. You're good.
Good one, Kevin.
You're hilarious, Kevin. You keep it up.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Jake, I cannot hear myself in the headphones. Are we working here? Okay, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear myself. Let me grab these other headphones real quick. I'll try them. Maybe they're working.
Hello. Oh, wow. That is a lot better. Although some folks might argue that was the best 10 seconds we've ever had in show history right there. You couldn't hear me, and the ratings went through the roof. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Man, it is a beautiful, glorious Monday. All right, and it's the Adam Carriker Show. If you didn't know, now you know. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. The mic was my friend for a week, and we're back to our daily battle now, but that's okay. All right, what you're going to get 4 days a week, grab your lunch, come join us from guys who strive to be smarter than the average dumb guys. You're going to hear, what I should say is you're going to hear Husker sports, college football, sports in general. What you're going to get unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. Every day I come in here and I'm like, man, this is a loaded show, because it is. We've got men's basketball. We've got women's basketball. We've got baseball. We've got softball, tennis. DP's been bringing on the tennis coach every Wednesday. We got tennis to talk about. Husker wrestling, Mollywops, Indiana. Take that, Kurt Cigarette. And then at the top of the hour, Matt Rhule did an interview with Josh Payton. They've already put out a clip. I think the full interview drops later today. Put out a clip. And basically, Matt Rhule talked about trying to maintain elite standards despite mediocre success so far. And we're going to play that clip, and then Jake and I are going to dive into that. I got some thoughts on that, as I always do. Carriker's Trivia Challenge is going to be back at the top of the hour. We're going to move it back to that noon hour. And I'm not going to lie to you. I almost forgot. Like when I was a kid, I used to mark. I know it's Valentine's Day weekend because it's always been Valentine's Day weekend. I used to mark the NBA All-Star Game and the slam dunk competition. And I remember, wasn't it Craig Hodges that won like 3 in a row at one point, the three-point competition? I used to mark that on my calendar. Admittedly, I remember maybe a third of the time now, but we're going to talk about that because I have seen it. All right, I got to admit, I really think the Nebraska football slam dunk competition, although the winner of this one was pretty good. He did a pretty good job. All right. It was actually pretty impressive. We're going to talk about that as well. Nate Robinson, who was not in this year's competition, but a guy that I played against in high school, and then went on to play football and basketball at the University of Washington, then went on to the NBA, won 3 slam dunk competitions during his career. I came across something I did not know about him. He's got one heck of a story that I was not aware of. Kind of an inspirational type piece. Despite being 5'9" and playing in the NBA and winning slam dunk competitions, he had to battle his entire career health issues. Serious health issues that I don't know that many people knew about, and I certainly did not. But we'll talk about that as well. But right off the top, Jake, how'd your Valentine's Day weekend go? I got to know. How'd it go?
Well, it went all right. Again,
all right.
Well, we're waiting. We're still waiting until tonight of all nights. Apparently the snow might crash in on us, but we were planning on tonight to kind of be our celebration. So I didn't experience too much of it, but I did. I mean, I went to a party, I spent some time with family. So it was still a Valentine's Day weekend, just waiting for me and my wife to get some alone time, which we don't get often with the kid, as you know.
A Valentine's Day party.
Yeah.
I haven't been to one of those since I was in like elementary school. What are those like for grown adults? What's that? What happens there? Exchange of candy and heart notes? What goes on there, Jake?
Yeah, we brought a bunch of candy. It was, my wife's from the Philippines, so people like local Filipino people get together because they feel like it's back home. So they get together for a lot of different parties. So we go to a lot of these parties, and so they're just looking for an excuse to throw one. And Valentine's Day works, so we all got together, did some dancing, had a good dinner, exchanged candy, all that sort of stuff. So it was a good time.
I like it, and I hope the snow does not ruin your alone time with your wife, Jake. We're all rooting for you to have that alone time. So since we moved back to Lincoln, all right, it's been really cold, as you would expect. Hey, no shock there. My biggest complaint is there hadn't been enough snow. I'm like, I love snow. Like, I want snow. I think until a couple of weeks ago, we had a dusting on Thanksgiving Day, and that was it. And so I was legit like, I want more snow. And I'm probably in the minority on this, but my philosophy is, and I love Nebraska. We came back here for a reason. This is home. We are happy. We wish we would have done it sooner. My wife and I, the family. Kids have adjusted really, really well, honestly. Even the older ones, which you never know how it's going to go. When they're in high school, they're older in middle school. The younger ones, you're like, they'll be fine. The older ones have done really, really well. The kids have adjusted well. We had one who had a little bit of a hard time. She seems to be coming around a little bit, and which makes me incredibly happy as a parent to see. But my biggest complaint was I wanted more snow. More snow. I'm finally getting my snow. I'm curious. Do I stand alone in this more snow thing? Because I want to know from the text line. if you're going to get cold weather, if it's going to be, wasn't it like -6 one day last week or something like that? Or that's what it felt like per the weather station. Like, if I'm going to get cold weather, I want snow. Now, admittedly, as I was backing my pickup out today, had a little boo-boo with the pickup, but that wasn't really due to the snow. Just got to pay better attention, I guess. But we'll get that taken care of. All right. Nebraska basketball. You get a chance to watch the game yesterday, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think like much of us, I almost turned it off after halftime, but I did stick around for the glorious comeback.
Well, what were your thoughts on the game?
I mean, like I was saying, it's a tale of two halves. Nebraska looked about as bad as they have this year, only scoring 21 points. I think that was their season low for a first half. And we're down 15 points, 36-21. And even at that time, it's like they're down 15. I was thinking they're kind of lucky to be down 15 with how poorly they've been. I mean, they looked really bad. But then come out in the second half, I think the largest comeback, a 20-point comeback altogether since Nebraska's joined the Big Ten. Stormed back and ended up winning the game. It was incredible. Bryce Williams, I think the 6th straight game now with over 20 points. He's having one of the best seasons we've seen in Nebraska basketball history. Juwan Gary continues to be that second go-to guy, 17 points. And I think, you look at some of the other roles, obviously Connor Essentian still waiting for him to kind of catch fire. If he can shoot as well as we see from him on those like 5 of 6, 5 of 8 nights, then he would have the best shooting percentage of all time. So every shooter kind of goes through their slumps. But it's especially noticeable that Braxton Mia, after riding the pine a little bit, being put toward the bench a couple games ago, since the Bear K injury, and he's had to sit out. I think you've gotten a better Braxton Mia, or at least maybe even the Braxton Mia that you expected when he was coming in from Washington. So altogether, just a great performance from Nebraska in that second half. A terrible one in the first half. But either way, you get the victory and you move on. Nebraska's still well positioned to make a run for the NCAA tournament.
Did you know that Nebraska only led this game for 152? The shortest amount of time in a win under Hoiberg. I actually thought it was less than that until I saw the actual stat. They are now, all right, basically the worst 25 minutes that they played all year was the first 25 minutes of the game. Probably their best 15 minutes of the entire year. Effectiveness-wise, anyways, was about the last 15 minutes a game. Nebraska is now 6-7 versus quad one opponents. Had I told you before the season, hey, with just a few games left to go in the year, Jake, Nebraska is going to have 6 wins versus quad one teams. 6-7, obviously, not 500 or over, but 6 wins versus quad one teams. What would you have thought? What would have been your reaction? Like, hey, that's good. Hey, that's not good. That's about what I would have expected. Because to me, I feel like it's a little bit better than I would have expected.
Well, it's just a lot of, I like the analytics and all that, and I know how much the quads mean, but it's just kind of silly to me that a win over Northwestern on the road is the same as beating Illinois or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, I traditional, I guess. I like top 25 wins.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I view things. But I know that these things are important. The net ranking, the quad, all that fits into it. So I guess not being so great with the quad system, I would have said, that sounds all right.
You're not supposed to phrase it like that, Jake. Jeez. No, we want a quad one win. That's what matters. That's all that matters. Hey, I will say this. Because, and this goes to college basketball, it goes to college football, it goes to rankings across the board in any sport. I think it's a little bit of a misleading stat to say, hey, we've got X amount of ranked wins. Because one team could have beaten the number 20th team in the country, and then let's say they beat number 28, 29, 30, and 31. The next team could have beaten, I don't know, the 21, 22, and 23rd team in the country, but then they didn't play anybody else in the top 50. Who do you think has a more impressive resume and a better strength of schedule? Because one team has only beaten one ranked team. The other team has beaten 3 ranked teams, yet the team with only 1 ranked win has actually beat 6 teams inside the top 30, while the team with 3 ranked wins has only beaten 3 teams inside the top 50. So when people just go straight to ranked wins, I'm like, it's a little bit misleading because you see it in college football sometimes. And so to your point, actually, like saying Northwestern, and they're a good team, they have the most amount, with all due respect to Northwestern, they're not an easy team to beat. They have the most amount of one possession losses of any team in the Big Ten. So they play teams tough. It's down to the wire. Their overall record is not what they would want it to be, obviously. All right, they're actually 13-13 overall before 11 in the Big Ten Conference. So they're not an easy team to beat. and on the road, and then they get up and they're playing well. Nebraska's honestly playing just god-awful. So god-awful that Fred Hoiberg had a fight with the whiteboard at halftime. With all due respect to Fred, I think the whiteboard won, but the team won at the end of the game. So in the end, who cares about the whiteboard? Nebraska basketball won, and that's all that matters. But so to me, I think sometimes ranked wins are a little bit misleading, and I think quad one wins, while it's interesting that Northwestern would be on the same level as, like you said, beating an Illinois team or something like that when Illinois is clearly the better team, I think it broadens beyond just, hey, ranked wins. Because I think sometimes in college football, like especially the SEC, I'm not trying to take shots at the SEC, but they'll have all these ranked wins, and then they won't have beaten anybody else in the top 50 because half their schedule is like never heard of you. I don't know, Occidental, which is a real college in California. I went to high school with a guy who went there. He got kicked off the team. Story for another day. Like all these universities you've never heard of, but hey, they got those 3 ranked wins. Let's just disregard the other games that don't matter. So to me, I like to look at the schedule as a whole and not just pick and choose, hey, this team's ranked, that matters, that matters, that matters. I think quad one, while not the perfect system to look at, or quad two, the quad system, I think it gives you a broader base beyond just top 25. Does that make sense to you?
It does. Like I get the idea behind it. I just, it's similar to like, okay, what is there a quad 1A if you beat a team that's actually a top 10 team on the road? Like, there's still different ways to narrow it down. And so, again, I'm traditional top 25. And I do get what you're kind of saying. And there's always teams, especially at the beginning of the season, you get a top 25 win, a team against a team that's ranked 13th. They finished 500. Should that be a top 25 win? So there's no perfect way to do it. And none of these in college sports, it's hard to get equal scheduling, factor in injuries. It's all really tough to kind of figure out who has the better resume. But thank God they're fighting over 68 and 69 getting into the tournament, I suppose. And that's kind of the big deal behind it all. But I know we'll talk about it later. College football looking at expanding their playoffs. So I mean, I think that maybe more of that will hit to college football. Maybe we'll get some quads system for college football.
I don't want to see quads in college. I don't want to see quads. We're going to. It's going to be. We will get to it. I had that on docket for tomorrow because basically, long story short, ladies and gentlemen, it's dropped what we already knew. So it officially is coming out what we already knew, that they're going to expand the playoff to 14, if not 16 teams in 20. What is this, the 2025 season? 2026. Like it's going to happen. They're going to 14 teams, if not 16. And I was going to save that for the show tomorrow. We'll still save it for tomorrow. I could argue. I don't like the 16-team format. I could argue the 14-team format's actually better than 12, and I'm a person who didn't like expanding to 12, but I'll save that for tomorrow. We can dive into tomorrow. I can explain why. Part of it is the conference championship games will actually matter. You think Oregon's glad they won the title in the Big Ten? You think Ohio State gives a crap that they finished 4th? I hate that doesn't matter. What we believe is going to happen in college football, which we will dive into tomorrow, actually, even though they're bringing more teams in, so you're going to see 3-loss teams every year in now. Okay, once this does expand in 2026, whether it's 14 or 16, so you're devaluing the regular season more, but what I believe they're going to do and what's being reported will actually place more emphasis on the conference championship games and things that actually matter. Because right now, Lane Kiffin flat out said, I don't want to play the conference championship game. Oregon, dude, if I'm Oregon, I might have been like, hey, let's play our backups. Man, let's flip with Ohio State, although they still would have played Ohio State maybe if they're the 8th. I don't know how that would have worked out. We got to fix a lot of things, but what's actually being proposed, I actually kind of like. And we'll get into it tomorrow.
I'll say this real quick, though. Watch out. The SEC is doing well in basketball. They might want 10, 12 automatic bids to the NCAA tournament. That might be coming around the corner, too.
I know you're joking, but I also know that you're kind of not, and I don't like it. I don't like it, Jake. All right. So back to college basketball here, Nebraska. I will say this, and let me ask you this. I asked you this, so give me a genuine answer to this. Because the rankings, there's human bias in it, because it's human beings that are voting on these rankings, whether it's college basketball, whether it's college football. So let's just go to college football for a second. Every year, the SEC has like X amount of top ranked recruiting classes. Okay. And hey, they get a lot of talent. They get a lot of guys in the NFL draft, and they have all these hypothetical wins. And then we play actual games and they lose like they did last offseason, with the exception of one time they had a big win in the bowl season. That was Ole Miss. That was really it. Other than that, they kind of had a really rough offseason. By the way, South Carolina's head coach, is still like demanding that they should get more teams in the playoff because it's a whole nother league that they're in. They're just a whole nother level above. I wonder if he'd like to have a chat with Brett Bielema. And maybe they can exchange some hand signals like they did during their bowl game because that seemed to go so well for him. But here's my point. I think it starts with recruiting. And recruiting rankings matter to a degree. You got to develop, et cetera, et cetera. There's coaching. There's I know you don't like analytics as much, but there is game planning. There's adjustments within game plans. How do you handle injuries? How do you adjust to what they're doing, what they're not doing, et cetera? All right, guys earning spots versus being handed spots. But if these SEC teams start with all these high-ranked classes, then they start with all these high rankings in the preseason poll, which probably should just be done away with. If you look at preseason polls versus the polls at the end of the year, they're so drastically different. It's not ASA 7, ASA 8, Jake. It's ASA 9. It just is. But the human bias starts with the recruiting rankings. Then it's the preseason rankings. And then the SEC teams get all these ranked wins, okay? And then they play Timbuktu U that you've never heard of. And then to me, the bias, it just never stops. So to me, that's why I like going beyond just the top 25 or the rankings, whether it's college basketball, excuse me, or it's college football, because I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to take a drink real quick. I'm going to come back to my original question. What resume is more impressive to you? The team that beats like the 21, 22, and 23rd ranked team in the country and then doesn't play anybody else in the top 50. 9 teams outside the top 50. Let's say it's a college football schedule. The next team plays number 20 and then 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. So they play basically 6 teams inside the top 31, and they beat them all. Let's just say these 2 teams have relatively the same records. Which resume is actually more impressive to you?
It would probably be the second one, because I don't think there's all that much of a difference between team number 20 and team number 28, even though the top 25, would split that difference.
No short answer.
Yeah, I mean,
if you've got more, go ahead. I don't want to cut into your time.
No, that's what I mean. I get your point. I mean, more quality victories against quality teams, even though some of that other resume might have a few higher ranked teams, but it's not by a lot. But then once you start to get into like the top, then I think that's where you can get the difference. And all these resumes and arguments about rankings and stuff, I get that. But it's all kind of fun because we're talking about, well, this team should be ranked 15th instead of 19th or something like that. Usually there's a pretty clear, especially in college football, it's hard to like 6, top 6 or 7 teams. You're gonna be like, oh, and usually top 4, top 3. You can kind of figure out those are really the teams. But as we expand this playoff to 16, if you get that far, then it is more important to distinguish the 15th best team and the 19th best team.
So again, we'll dive into that more tomorrow, but we're letting more teams in, which just on the surface level, I don't like. It devalues the regular season more, which I've talked about on this show before. But I will actually explain why I like what they're doing better than what we currently have. It doesn't help that what we currently have is not great at all, to put it kindly. And this is actually, I don't even think a step up. I think it's potentially 2 steps up because of what it's going to actually emphasize. And one thing it's going to eliminate is the importance of the college football playoff committee. Things will be a lot more settled on the field. But again, we'll dive into that tomorrow. All right, Nebraska basketball, at one point, they had a 1.8% chance of winning the game. Northwestern had a 98.2% chance of winning the game at a certain point on Sunday. All right. Let me get back on track here. By the way, as I thumb through some of my notes, don't ever go to a massage parlor with Deshaun Watson or Justin Tucker. All right. Next thing, moving on. More things keep coming out, and I'm just like, good Lord, what's going on? All right, down 20 early in the second half. Nebraska is, again, 20-point comeback, okay? Probably played their best 15 minutes of the entire season. As you mentioned, Bryce Williams now has 6 straight 20-point efforts. That is the longest streak by a Husker since Tyronn Lue. I should have turned this into a trivia question, but too late. Since Tyronn Lue, 97 and 98 is when he did that. All right. Nebraska outscored Northwestern 66-14 down the stretch to pick up the huge win. So what this signals to me is games like this, games like the Oregon game on the road, when you can find a way, even if you get down early, to battle back. those games almost mean more to me than just blowing out really bad teams. Like, I love what Nebraska softball is doing right now. They are just blowing teams out. They had 20 home runs over the weekend. They outscored their opponents by 60 runs, 69-9. Okay. Jordy Ball throws the first no-hitter since she came back from injury as a Husker, the 41st no-hitter in Nebraska softball history. Now, I want to see them play more consistently. Great win versus Tennessee, number 6 in the country to start the year. Then, unfortunately, they lost to a ranked Texas Tech, a ranked Mississippi State. Okay. And in games that were pretty competitive. But since then, they haven't had tough competition, and they're blowing these teams out as you should. If you're a good team and you're not playing great competition like Northern Colorado is one of the teams, you should blow them out. You should stomp a mud hole in them and walk it dry. That's exactly what you should do. But sometimes those gritty wins, those ugly wins, finding a way when it just looks dire to come back and win, especially on the road. And a team that is better than their record indicates, and it's weird because you don't think of Northwestern as being a decent basketball school, with all due respect. Okay, they're 4-11 in the Big Ten. All right, when I say that, probably not a lot of people are shocked, but when you look at their schedule and how close they've been, it reminds me of Nebraska's football schedule over the years. Like, they're just right there. They're not an easy team to beat. Those types of wins actually mean more to me sometimes. All right, you got any final thoughts before we go quickly to women's basketball? And when we come back, we'll talk softball, baseball, wrestling, tennis, etc. Anything there, final thought-wise, on the basketball thing there, Jacob? I called you Jacob.
Right.
Jake.
That's my
son's
name.
Jacob, but Jake.
Just that with that win, too, that's 3 straight road wins for Nebraska in the Big Ten. That's very difficult to come by at all, at this level. So Nebraska has dropped a few at home as of late, but now making up for those on the road.
Yeah, actually, it's their 7th win away, including neutral site games, away from Pinnacle Bank Arena or their home court, which is the most they've had in 25 years. All right, final thoughts on my end. Bryce Williams, as we mentioned, reached double digits in points for the 24th time in 26 games. Okay, he now has 6 straight 20-point games. I already talked about that from Tyronn Lue from before. 6th quad 1 win of the season. Nebraska improved to 5-5 in road games, as you mentioned this year. 7-6 away from home, including neutral site games on the season as well. All right, Nebraska women's basketball had a tough night. Sometimes I can't figure these teams out. We have our best win last week. I guess you call it the best win. Basically, it's the first time we'd beaten a top 17 team on the road since 2013 when we beat A&M on the road that year. They were a top 10 team, I believe number 9 in the country in 2013. We go on the road, we beat Maryland. They're a ranked team, I believe 17th in the country. Big win. And then you come back, and Illinois is a pretty good team. I'm not disrespecting Illinois in any way, shape, or form. That is a good basketball team. But you come back, and it's like, can we just string a few of these together? Nebraska men's basketball, has been able to string some together. Unfortunately, 6 losses, then 4 consecutive wins, but now they've won 5 out of 6. Can we get the women to string a few together on their end? Unfortunately, all right, they were not able. They fell behind early. Alexis Markowski tied her career high with 28 points, including 12 in the 4th quarter. She had a great game. All right, Illinois answered with a huge second half. All right, and they really, if you watch this Illinois team, I think they're a team that could potentially make some noise in the NCAA tournament. I think they've kind of flown under the radar a little bit. Okay, were you able to watch this game at all, Jake?
I was not, but it continues to be the case that if Nebraska men win, then Nebraska women lose. If Nebraska women win, then Nebraska men lose. So.
Yeah, so I was able to catch a little bit of this. I think Illinois is a team that's kind of flown under the radar. They're known for being a good team, but I think they can make a little bit of noise in the tournament. But it'd be nice if we could kind of string a few of these together. I do think Nebraska women's basketball has the potential, much like they did a year ago. They made it all the way to the Big Ten championship game, lost in overtime to Caitlin Clark in Iowa to make a bit of a run in the Big Ten tournament. They beat A&M last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament, got to the second round. I think they have the potential to do these things. They got to do enough to get in to begin with, okay? And they got to find, it's that C word that I keep coming back to on a lot of things, and that's just the consistency. And that's the hardest thing to find. It's not unique to the women's basketball team or I mean, I've said it for the football team. I've even said it for the men's basketball team. When I brought on the weight loss champion, Chuck Carroll, he equated it to trying to stay healthy. If you're trying to lose weight, I'll tell you, if you're trying to put on weight, for me, it's someone like me, it's a lot easier to put on weight. I mean, I can eat a bunch and lift a bunch. That ain't hard. It's going the other direction. It's a little bit challenging. But the word consistency is the biggest thing that separates whether you're a player, a team, from being below average to average, average to good, good to great, great to elite, elite to all time. It's that word consistency, because it's the hardest thing to find, especially over the course of a long season or over the course of a college career, a professional career. All right, just got to string together some consistent performances. And I think if the women can do that, I do think they've got what it takes to make some noise. Britt Prince has shown, even as a true freshman, she is a player. She's got an insanely bright future. Alexis Markowski's one of the best players in the Big Ten Conference as a whole. They've got some key pieces. Amy Williams, all right, 250 career wins at the University of Nebraska, really good coach. They've got what it takes to make some noise, but they got to string together some wins, some consistent type play over the next few weeks so they can get in. All right, any final thoughts into the Big Ten tournament, but into the NCAA tournament? Any final thoughts where we had to break there, Jake?
Just that you look at their schedule remaining. Oregon at 9-6. That'll be a big one here on Wednesday. Kind of another team in their area in mid Big Ten. But if you're talking about stringing together wins, it is kind of, if they can get that win, you finish off with Washington and Northwestern. Northwestern 1-11 in the league. Washington 5-9. So the opportunity should be there to finish strong, because they've lost 5 of 7. Like you said, big top 25 victory the other day, but it would be nice to kind of string together wins, get some momentum going into that Big Ten tournament.
Both these teams have done well versus ranked teams, the men's and the women's. I almost when I look at who we're playing next, they're not ranked. I almost want them to just play ranked teams now. We seem to play better versus ranked teams. And I'm like, they're not ranked, we're in trouble. They're under 500, watch out. It's like if they're ranked and they're like whatever the record that Maryland had, like 19-6, I'm like, all right, we're going to play well tonight. It's kind of weird how that works out. It shows the talent is there. The consistency, work in progress. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 18th is 15% off chocolates, 15% off wines and spirits, and $10 off filet mignon per pound. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Bundle up, bring your crew, and make this winter one for the books with Bachfest at Beer House. Enjoy winter brews that will tangle with your taste buds, polka dancing, games like Hammerschlagen, Stein Stamina, and much more. Bach beer will be flowing, and sausages and pretzels will be available for purchase. Doors open at 11 a.m., and the party goes outside until 6 p.m. before moving inside. VIP tickets are $75, but just $5 gets you in the door. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for this Saturday's Bachfest.
February is American Heart Month, and with heart disease as the #1 leading cause of death in Nebraska, now is the best time to start thinking about your health. Maintaining a healthy blood pressure is one of the best ways to avoid heart disease, and the blood pressure screening is fast, easy, and can be free. The best way to get screened is at your yearly wellness visit with your doctor. For more information and ways to get a blood pressure screening, search Chronic Disease Nebraska. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue at 11th and Cornhusker, open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus incredible sides. Get fueled, ladies and gentlemen, with delicious food for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located at 11th and Cornhusker. All right, Jake, before we dive into some softball, baseball, I got some USA hockey to talk about. You've got some interesting things on that as well. Travis Kelce signs extension to come back to the Chiefs.
Ooh.
So I don't know if you want to talk about that at all. All right, of course, if you talk about the Chiefs, you have to talk about the refs. Just kidding. There is a rumor that they might bring in Debo Samuel to the Chiefs now. So maybe it wasn't Tyreek Hill. Because the rumor I had heard was it was Tyreek to the Chiefs, Debo to the Dolphins. Maybe it's Debo to the Chiefs. My question is, Chiefs, who's going to block? I'm Patrick Mahomes. Who's going to block? I just want to know who's going to block. All right, do we care about this or we want to move on to the next segment?
I care about it enough.
All right, what do you want to talk about that real quick? I'll throw it to you real quick. Anything from the text line, anything on the Chiefs actually blocking somebody if they make the Super Bowl again, which they probably will, let's be honest. Okay, anything from the text line, anything else on your end real quick, Jake?
Oh, no, just that I saw, too, with Travis Kelce, I think there's an expectation that they also might start to integrate another tight end into play if they do bring him back. So might not have quite the role that he's had in the past for those teams. Off the text line, Old Dad 34 agrees with you, says, I love the snow also.
Thank you.
Big Bird says, biggest story is Braxton and Andrew Morgan's free throws. And Nebraska had a lot more free throws than Northwestern in that game. So that was part of the comeback. A lot of that at the end, Bryce Williams, clinching the game there. And then Eric and Lincoln says, Husker baseball are rolling.
I love it. So real quick on the free throw thing, at the end of the game, the announcers were talking about it. Like Bryce Williams, one of the best free throw shooters in the entire country, shooting 91%. Don't want to foul that guy. Connor Essegian, he only shoots 85%. Juwan Gary, 89%. I'm like, holy crap. Like, these are some of the best free throw shooters in America, all on the same team. Like, every game I look at the stats. We don't always outshoot the other team from the field or outshoot the other team from the arc, but we almost always outshoot the team from the free throw line. And it's crazy. I look at this, I'm like, we only shot 79%. What's wrong with us? Meanwhile, Northwestern shot 62%. So free throw shooting is something that Nebraska is doing very, very well. All right. Anything else there real quick, Jake?
No, that's all from the text line.
All right. Jake Gunsel from Omaha, Nebraska. It's the headline, 402 Nation on X. Give them a follow if you'd like. Says, wins it for Team USA. This is USA Hockey versus Team Canada in hockey on Saturday night. He had 2 goals. My man Jake from Omaha, Nebraska had 2 goals. USA beat Team Canada 3-1. Now, weren't there some fans in attendance that were like booing or something? Like, what was going on there, Jake?
Well, yeah, the Canadian fans are not happy with the tariffs that are being put on them, so they booed the U.S. national anthem. There were a lot of fights in this game, so a little bit of a tension between Canada and Team USA here.
Well, I mean, the tension and the fights, I understand. The tariffs are not my problem. That's a whole different issue, and that's not my issue. Boo all you want. All right, we beat your hockey team. Okay, attendance. For this is Omaha Supernovas, just continually setting records. Like, Nebraska fans love volleyball. I don't think there's another city in America that has 2 professional volleyball teams like Omaha does. All right, attendance for the match over this weekend, the Omaha Supernovas and San Diego Mojo, is 12,768, the second largest crowd in franchise and league history as well. All right. Nebraska baseball. I think they have another game here at 2 o'clock today, but they bounce back with a couple of wins over the weekend. Beat number 16 Vanderbilt 6-4. Gabe Swanson with 3 for 4 at the plate. Masters career high with 6 RBIs. Like, basically all the runs were hit in by my man Gabe here. All right, pretty impressive. As number 24 Nebraska knocked off number 16 Vanderbilt. All right, in the MLB Desert Invitational on Saturday night. This was actually on the MLB Network. If you watched the game it was on the MLB Network. All right, the Huskers scored 6 runs on 8 hits, while the Commodores tallied 4 runs on 7 hits. Swanson doubled twice and homered for the first time this season while driving in his career-high 6 runs for the third time, matching it for the third time in his Husker career. Caden Brumbaugh was 2 for 5 with a double, while Joshua Overbeek recorded a triple on the night. Case Sanderson scored a team-high 2 runs, and the sophomore joined Riley Silva with NU's other 2 hits on Saturday. Ty Horn allowed 3 runs on 4 hits across 4 innings as he got the start. The sophomore struck out a career-high 6 batters and issued a pair of walks in the no decision. Jalen Worthley picked up the victory after pitching 1 2/3 scoreless innings in relief to maintain the lead for the Huskers. Tucker Timmerman tossed 2 1/3 innings, allowing 1 run on 2 hits and striking out a pair. All right, Luke Broderick collected the save in his Husker debut after tossing a scoreless 9th inning with a punch out. Question for you, Jake. If you were a pitcher, would you want to be the starter? Would you want to be out of the bullpen? Would you want to be the closer? Which would you prefer to be? Let's say you got paid, starters get paid the most, closers probably next. Let's take money out of it. Let's say you're making, no matter what, you're making $1 million, you're in the MLB, it doesn't matter what. What role would you prefer to play as a pitcher?
I mean, I think that just kind of depends on your mindset. But I mean, I kind of like the closer idea, right? I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
Starter's cool, but you don't, you can't help out every day, every 5-6 games, whatever. You're starting and you're running through innings and maybe mowing people down and hopefully, setting your team up for a victory. But closing time's closing time. That's coming in when winning time is important. So if you can lock down one of those roles, you're pretty good and high level of confidence in yourself.
Closing time. You know that song?
I do.
All right. I don't know how far I can go. It immediately goes into things right after that. Not vulgar, but I don't know. I would be the closer. Oh, it was Vaughn from the old Indians 80s baseball movie.
Yeah, was it Ricky Vaughn?
Ricky Vaughn. Good old Charlie Sheen. He's winning, drinking tiger's blood, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody remembers that from back in the day. Dude, I would totally want to be the closer. The glass-shattering music is what I would walk on the field to, just like we start off this show every single day. I would bust open, I'd kick open the bullpen door, and I'd march out there like I own Earth. That would be my mentality. I don't know if I'd be any good, but that would be my mentality. That would be my approach, and I would try to have those batters intimidated before I ever throw a pitch. That would be my whole goal. And you're right. It's a different mindset. Like, you're coming in with the game on the line. Somebody has probably already pitched 6, 7, 8 innings. You're trying to save the game for your teammates, for that guy who started the game. If someone came in, middle relief, long relief, short relief, whatever the case is, and like the ball is in your hands. And that is the situation that I would want, or I'd want to be the starter, one or the other. No, all due respect to middle relief guys, that would be my least favorite of all these. But let's be real, a lot of guys, if you were a starter for a lot of the years in major leagues, and the arm isn't quite what it was, but you've still got a few things that you do well, you can extend your major league career another 3, 4, or 5 years potentially by going to being a middle reliever of some sort. But that's kind of what I envision, man, is the entrance music, kicking open the bullpen door, walking out there like Ricky Vaughn, like I own the place. Now, who knows, again, if I'd be any good, but that's how I envision it in my own mind and in my dreams. All right, Nebraska baseball dominates San Diego State 13-0. Will Washtosh, 7 scoreless innings, and the Husker offense erupted for 13 runs as number 24 Nebraska recorded a 13-0 win versus San Diego State at the MLB Desert Invitational Sunday night in Mesa, Arizona. Nebraska 2-1, total 13 runs on 12 hits, while San Diego State 1-2, recorded 7 hits and committed 3 errors. Caden Brumbaugh went 2 for 5 at the plate with a double, triple, 2 RBI, and a pair of runs scored. Max Butenbach drove in a career-high 4 RBI with a 1 for 3 night and a 2-run homer. Woljeski and Riley Silva pieced together 2 hit performances, while Dylan Carey, Gabe Swanson, Robbie Bolin, Joshua Overbeek, and Rhett Stokes tallied 1 hit apiece. All right, the Huskers loaded the bases in the bottom of the second, with no outs after 3 consecutive singles from Overbeek, Jeske, and Silva. Brumbaugh added to the NU lead with a 2-run double to left field. Plating Overbeek and Jeske to make it a 3-0 game, and the game just took off from there. Nebraska poured on 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 outs to blow the game open, and the final score, as we all know now, was 13-0. There's nothing more frustrating being a former pitcher than you get to 2 outs and then you just can't get that third out. The elusive third out. I've always thought the third out was almost sometimes harder to get than outs 1 and 2. So that can be very frustrating. So I almost feel for San Diego State's pitcher. Almost. All right. Any final thoughts before we go to softball there, Jake?
Oh, just a quick shout out. As you kind of asked me that question, I think the middle relief pitchers, we neither of us chose them. Just a reminder, though, that Major League Baseball's all-time record for holds, which is a stat people may not know, but preserving the win in setting up the save opportunity, belongs to Tony Watson, former Husker, all-time record hold record in Major League Baseball. So if you didn't know, now you know.
I like it. And in fairness to a relief pitcher, a lot of times you're brought in, bases loaded, 2 outs, Harry situation. Like you are brought, like the closer, the game's on the line. You're brought in to close the game, get the win. Don't blow it. Don't blow the save. You're a relief pitcher. Unless you're starting the inning, there is a 50% chance, if not more, that you are being brought in a hairy situation. And while the stat, if let's say it's 2 outs, bases loaded, those 3 runners score, those 3 runs are attached to the guy who was on the mound previously, not you, because he put them on base. The stats may not indicate that it was you, but trust me, you're going to feel it like it was you because you've been entrusted in that tough situation. So nothing but love and respect to anybody who pitches and throws, because that can be an equally tough situation, almost like, maybe a punter brought in deep in your own end zone, you got to get the punt off. Field goal kicker, I would almost liken to a closer trying to put the game away at the end of the game, a walk-off game-winning field goal, something like that. We will discuss softball, tennis, and wrestling when we come back, but I got some trivia questions for you, Jake. You ready?
I think I'm ready.
Because we are talking baseball and softball. How's your pro baseball knowledge?
It's pretty good if you talk about the Red Sox from about 98 to 2012. Other than that, not great. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. I got a couple of questions. My son asked me these questions this weekend. I actually did all right.
Okay.
The only one I didn't get was the first one. All right. What Major League Baseball Hall of Famer never made a single All-Star game?
Ooh.
And how is this even possible, by the way?
How is that even possible?
You will know the name once you hear it. You probably won't connect it with this question, but that's okay.
He's got to be like the 4th best center fielder, whatever it is, every year or something, so that he doesn't quite get in.
You will know the name. That's the hint.
Man. I really don't like anybody I throw out. You're gonna look at me stupid. You're like, of course he made All-Star games. I
won't. I
don't
because
know.
I didn't get this right either. It's okay. Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb.
Ty
Really?
Cobb.
Okay.
Yes, that is crazy to me. All right, this was a little simpler. Who's the all-time strikeouts leader in the history of Major League Baseball?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but
just guess big name pitchers.
I love Pedro Martinez.
No, he's up there. No.
Randy Johnson.
No.
Maddox.
All right, Nolan Ryan. I'll help you out there.
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. How many this was supposed to be the trickier one. How many Cy Youngs did Nolan Ryan win in his career? Major League Baseball's all-time strikeout king, and has also thrown 7 no-hitters, more than anybody else in the history of Major League Baseball.
I feel like you're setting me up for a surprise here, so let's go with 1.
0.
Okay.
The math on some of this does not add up. How are you in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame but you never made the All-Star game? By the way, your name is Ty frickin' Cobb. All right. I did meet Nolan Ryan one time. We had the same financial guy back in the day out of Houston. They had a financial meeting. We were all there. And I walk in. I'm like, oh, my God, it's Nolan frickin' Ryan. My favorite pitcher of all time. Very real dude. Chatted with him for 5-10 minutes. That was a pretty cool experience. My wife was with me. That was a while ago. That was not long after I got drafted. So we're talking probably like 15, 16 years ago. All right. Last couple of questions. You might get this first one. There's multiple parts to this. Who's the only hitter in history to hit 400 in a season in the majors? You're a Red Sox guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's a Red Sox.
Well, I actually don't know his full career and everybody he played for, but you will know the name.
Williams. What's it?
Ted Williams.
Yeah, Ted Williams.
Did he play for the Reds? He played for the Red Sox. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. I was like, if he don't know it, maybe he didn't, and I'm wrong. But I was like, I'm pretty sure he did.
I should know that. Now I feel ashamed.
In modern day Major League Baseball, the closest person to come to 400 was Luis Arias, 354, which isn't all that close, albeit a great season. Who is the next closest person in history? And this dude was a perennial all-star in the 90s.
90s, okay.
Think left-handed, just a natural sweet swing, high batting average every year in the 90s. West Coast.
Ichiro was 2000s. Bonds?
Well, did he ever have I know he got walked a billion times. Did he ever have a high batting average, though?
I don't know.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. Yes, gosh.
That's all right. That's all right. We're not in full baseball mode. We're kind of adjusting in. All right. I should have warned you with some of those. Tony Gwynn was one of my favorites as a kid. So I got the Nolan Ryan as the strikeouts leader. I got Tony Gwynn almost hitting 400. The other ones, I was like, man, I would have never guessed Ty Cobb. I would have never guessed Nolan Ryan has 0 Cy Youngs. I mean, so I thought that was kind of fun, kind of get us in the baseball swing of things as we sit here looking at snow out the window. Perfect baseball weather. But ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere when we come back. Softball, tennis, wrestling at the top of the hour. Matt Rhule talks about trying to maintain elite standards while enduring, up to this point anyway, mediocre results. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Mulberry Barbecue now has a brand new second location to help all your lunch and dinner cravings. Stop by their newest location at 6125 Apples Way near Lowe's off of Highway 2. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burn-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Mulberry Barbecue open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway and now at 6125 Apples Way in South Lincoln.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street, family owned and operated, always the best value.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
February is American Heart Month, and with heart disease as the #1 leading cause of death in Nebraska, now is the best time to start thinking about your health. Maintaining a healthy blood pressure is one of the best ways to avoid heart disease, and the blood pressure screening is fast, easy, and can be free. The best way to get screened is at your yearly wellness visit with your doctor. For more information and ways to get a blood pressure screening, search Chronic Disease Nebraska. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, it's been brought to my attention that George Brett in the 80s hit in the 390s. Now, I am adopting the Royals as my favorite baseball team now that we moved back to Lincoln. I really tried to make it the Rockies when we were close to them. It was just hard. They sucked too. But I really tried to. But I am officially adopting the Royals now. So there's no disrespect to Brett, to the Royals. I still have that image of him charging out of the dugout, just ready to go in my mind. I'll never get that out of my mind. Uh-oh. He's okay. All right.
Austin's a big Royals fan.
Oh, okay. So no disrespect. I basically just stopped at the 90s. That was the only reason I didn't bring up George Brett, because that happened in the 80s. So all due respect to George Brett, one of the best to ever do it. All right. I just kind of was like, all right, I'm going to cut it off at the 90s. And that's why I stopped with Tony Gwynn. But yes, Brett was in that conversation as well. If there's a third person who hit 390 or above, let me know. Let me know before the 80s, because now we've cut it off at the 80s. If there's someone between Ted Williams and George Brett that hit 390 or above, feel free to let me know. I don't want to leave anybody out or disrespect anybody. All right. It's crazy because we got 2 hours and I still feel like I'm short on time sometimes, Jake, so I got to have cutoffs somewhere at points. Anyways, all right, real quick. Nebraska softball, the number 18 Nebraska softball team. Basically, they're just mollywopping people, which is pretty cool to see right now. They had a great weekend. They had 20 home runs. Mercy ruled 5 straight teams. Jordy Ball, as I mentioned earlier in the show, threw her first no-hitter as a Husker. Outscored their opponent 69-9. 69 runs to 9 runs. Outscored them by 60 runs. All right, Mercy ruled 5 straight teams. So Nebraska softball is a team that we brought guests on, and they've said they have Women's College World Series type potential and even expectations. When I asked Emily Eamon, who has called and covered Women's College World Series games, do you think they'll be there? She said yes. Now, we got to beat more ranked teams. They don't play a ton of ranked teams in the Big Ten, with all due respect. They don't. That's why these non-conference games matter a lot, but they are mollywopping and curb stomping a lot of other teams in the process. All right, Nebraska softball is going to be an exciting team to watch, just like baseball, just like basketball. All right, I love that all Husker sports seem to be on the rise. All right, we're going to get to tennis here in a minute, wrestling in a minute as well. All right, as a team, Nebraska is now 8-2, hit 446 over the 5-0 weekend with 20 home runs, as I mentioned. The Huskers scored at least 10 runs in all 5 games in New Mexico, marking the first time in program history Nebraska has scored 10 or more runs in 5 consecutive games. All right, David Kuzik powered the offense on Sunday with 3 home runs. You ever hit 3 home runs in one day, Jake?
I've never hit one.
You never hit one?
No, I never did.
Did you play baseball growing up?
I did not.
Oh.
I struck out in slow pitch softball, so that lets you know how bad I am.
How slow?
Oh, they were underhand.
Dude, you got to come over to my house. I got wiffle balls. You can't be striking out in slow pitch softball, but that's okay. Everybody's got to start somewhere, right?
That's right.
Trust me, there's places I've started that, they were pretty bad, and then they're still pretty bad, but I'm working on it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. She tied the school record for home runs in a game. All right, Kuzik became the 3rd Husker to homer 3 times in a game. She went 4 for 4 with 6 RBIs, while Jordy Ball batted behind her in the lineup, also went 4 for 4 with 2 doubles and a triple. The duo combined went 8 for 8 against Montana and notched 2 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, 7 runs, and 7 RBIs. I'd have to double check this, but I think Jordy is tied with her with 5 home runs, leading the Huskers on the season. Do you mind just double checking that real quick there, Jake? All right. See if we got any final thoughts here. Here's my final thought. The last time the Huskers started 8-2 through a season's first 10 games was the 2019 season. Are they indeed tied with 5?
So Cusack has 8.
8.
But Ball does
they
have
were
5.
tied. Does Ball have 7?
She has 5.
Oh, that's what it was. It was 5 going into the weekend. Then she had 3. So she pulled ahead 8-5. All right. Dude, I love covering all these sports, but sometimes numbers get jumbled in my head a little bit. I knew they were tied. I thought it was 5. That's right. 5 plus 3 is 8. That is correct math. I'm not a math major, but that does add up, ladies and gentlemen. Huskers dominate in wrestling. Number 5, Nebraska wrestling team dominates number 21, Indiana, 39-2. Anytime I hear Indiana, I think of Kurt Signetti. Do you? I just want to stick it to him. I just want to stick it to him. I just do. I was fine with him. And then he called us out for no reason before they played Notre Dame on national TV.
Oh, I tell you, that 56-7 loss that Nebraska took to Indiana, they're going to be replaying that in Bloomington for 10, 15 years. I went to a Kansas game, one Kansas game that I've been to, and they replayed the 2007. I mean, they were showing highlights of when they beat Nebraska 76-39 or whatever. Those schools that get those basketball schools that get a big football win over Nebraska, they're going to enjoy those.
All right, moving on. My senior year was 06, just if anybody's out there wondering, okay? My senior year was 06. I remember a couple of those games. And thank God for Joe Gans finally putting up some points on the board on offense. But I'd be getting on the plane to go to a away game on a Saturday to play on a Sunday. And I was just like, what is going on the defensive side of the ball? Anyways, I just want to be clear. My senior year was 06. All right, now I thought this was interesting. 39-2. Nebraska or Indiana actually lost a team point for coach conduct. 39-2. When you've only got 3 points on the board, don't have a third of your points taken away due to coach conduct. Maybe at that point it just doesn't matter. So I've coached youth sports for it's going on year 9. I think I tallied up at one point, coached like 31 teams. I've been a head coach like 23 times, assistant coach 8 or 9 times, whatever it is. I've got one in almost a decade, Jake. One technical.
Uh-oh.
One.
What'd you do?
Nothing. I didn't do anything. I was sitting there sipping on my water, minding my own business. I may have said that was the wrong call. You absolutely suck and you need to evaluate your life. No, I didn't say that at all. I remember the game. I remember the opponent. I remember the team. I actually don't remember what I did specifically. I think it was nonstop harassment of the ref may have been technically what I did. So anyways, it cost our team 2 points and I had to sit down the rest of the game. And if you've ever seen me coach, I don't sit. I'm like Vershawn. I'm constantly standing and moving. I don't sit. In fact, it got to a point where I would sit. And so I coached this kid named Kai for years in football and basketball. I sat because I would try to sit, but then I'd be up, like boom. And he starts counting. So he does this about 2 or 3 times over the course of like a tournament weekend. And finally I go, what are you doing? He goes, you've never sat longer than the count of 5. And I'm like, are you kidding me with this? You're counting how long I'm sitting? Like, that's how well we knew each other as well. So anyways, no, it was a team we played a million times. Their coach actually hammered the refs all the time. And he actually had been kicked out of games that we had played them. So I'd watched him get kicked out of the gym. So it's a tight game. It's coming down to the end. And I cost our team 2 points, and I can't even stand up, which is literally driving me nuts. It's like if somebody forced me to talk slow, I'd lose my mind. And I'm like, if we lose by 1 or 2 points, I'm going to be so mad at myself. We ended up winning by like 3 or 4 or whatever it was. But man, I still remember that to this day because my wonderful bride tends to bring it up from time to time. She actually brought it up the other day. Hey, Adam, you know how many technicals I've got over the years? And she'll hold up like 0 or say 0. I'm like, thanks. This other coach gets like 15 technicals, tossed out of games, but all right. My one guffaw gets brought up. That's okay. All right. Shout out to the tennis team. All right, we got to go quick here. We are behind as always, but that's okay. Shout out to the tennis team. Big Red completed a 2-0 weekend, defeating Tulsa 6-1. Fresh off a 43 win at Ole Miss, the Nebraska men's tennis team notched another dual win on the road, defeating Tulsa, who is 6-6. They defeated them 6-1, on Sunday afternoon. The Big Red improved to 6-3 with the victory, staying in the win column and matching last season's 9 dual opening record. 4 Huskers took straight set wins en route to the victory, which ended a 3-match win streak for the Golden Hurricanes of Tulsa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the first hour of this show, you're just joining us, like the ultimate Husker sports roundup, recap, review. Nebraska baseball, Nebraska softball, Nebraska tennis, Nebraska wrestling, men's basketball, women's basketball. We talk about Ricky Vaughn for some reason at a certain point, and my technical foul, but you probably just heard that when we come back. We've got 3 clips to play. 3 clips, so you know it's a loaded segment. Matt Rhule, all right, talks about trying to maintain elite standards through mediocre results so far in his tenure as head coach. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual Planner Clinic at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings, February 19th and 20th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere planners and performance upgrades, covering topics such as new technology, in-cab monitors, maintenance points, and options to increase your operations profits. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation and exact shot. Don't miss Landmark's Planner Clinic, February 19th and 20th in Hastings. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Bundle up, bring your crew, and make this winter one for the books with Bachfest at Beer House. Enjoy winter brews that will tangle with your taste buds, polka dancing, games like Hammerschlagen, Stein Stamina, and much more. Bach beer will be flowing, and sausages and pretzels will be available for purchase. Doors open at 11 a.m., and the party goes outside until 6 p.m. before moving inside. VIP tickets are $75, but just $5 gets you in the door. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for this Saturday's Bachfest. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
I'm Enrique Alvarez-Clary. Nebraska softball continues their torrid start to the season with 5 run rule victories in their 5 games at the Troy Cox Classic in New Mexico. They won their 5 games by a combined score of 69-9, including 2 shutouts and a no-hitter courtesy of Jordy Ball. Nebraska is up to 24 home runs in 10 games, led by Wisconsin transfer Ava Cusack with 8. She tied a Huskers record with 3 versus Montana and had 9 total in her 52 games with the Badgers last year. Next up for the Huskers, the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic in Cathedral City, California. They opened that tournament up with Baylor on the 20th at 4:30. Nebraska men's basketball had their largest comeback in nearly 30 seasons as they came back from down 20 points to beat Northwestern on the road 68-64. This is the Huskers' 5th road win this season and their 5th in their last 6 games. Bryce Williams had 21 points and 3 steals, while Jawan Gary was close behind with 17 points, going 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Nebraska men's basketball faces Penn State in State College on the 19th at 5:30 on the Big Ten Network. 23rd-ranked Nebraska baseball began their season down in Arizona and are off to a 2-1 start with a 10-5 loss to UC Irvine, followed by a 6-4 win over number 16 Vanderbilt and a 13-0 win over San Diego State. Nebraska baseball takes on Grand Canyon at 2 p.m. today, and that game can be seen on ESPN Plus and heard on the Huskers Radio Network.
Roderick set. Here's the pitch. Line drive towards second. Caden Brumbaugh is there. He squeezes the line drive. And on a night filled with emotion, honoring our leader, Greg Sharp, with his eyes on the diamond and his hands on our shoulders, Nebraska takes down 16th ranked Vanderbilt 6-4. Sharpie, that one is for you.
The upset victory over Vanderbilt on Saturday, February 15th came with an added bit of motivation and emotion, as it was announced that longtime voice of Nebraska football and baseball, Greg Sharp, had passed away on Friday. Sharp had been the voice for football and baseball since 2008 and was recently recognized as the 2024 Nebraska Sportscaster of the Year, as well as being honored with the Greg Sharp radio booth inside Memorial Stadium. In a statement, the Sharp family said, quote, "While the public knew him for his booming voice and infectious personality, those closest to him knew him for his loyalty and dedication to them. Over the last 12 months, Greg has fought a very public battle with pancreatic cancer. Even though it was a grim diagnosis at the time, Greg chose to live and not to fear." End quote. He was 61.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
I can see it now, Jake. I just kicked open the bullpen door. No, keep the music going. Keep the music going. I'm walking out to the field. The glass is shattered. I'm getting ready to throw the ball. There was a time when I could throw it fast. It's probably a pepper and hot 74 miles an hour now. And I'm getting ready to throw some meaty pitches right down the middle and blow this game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the first hour of the show. I asked Jake, I said, if you could be any type of pitcher, starter, closer, reliever, what would you be? He said closer. I said closer. And I said I'd have like the glass shattering entrance music, just like the top of the hour of every show that I do. And I'd be walking out and I'd kick open the bullpen door. And by God, I don't know if I'd be any good, but I'd sure have a whole lot of fun. And I'd be trying to intimidating as all hell while I'm walking out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about, we got a few things on the docket, but this particular segment, we're going to have 3 clips that we play. All right, and they all come back to Matt Rhule. So the first one is Matt Rhule. The second one's actually Greg Maddux. It comes back to Matt Rhule. And then the third one is Donovan Edwards / Travis Hunter. It all comes back to Matt Rhule and trying to keep up the standard of excellence. Now, real quick, before we play that, we're going to do this Mondays and Fridays going forward. This show is constantly evolving, growing, hopefully getting better more often than we go backwards. Hopefully we're getting better each and every day. But we are now going to do our daily trivia contest giveaway. So if you want to be brought on air, Carriker's Trivia Challenge. Now it's going to be Monday, Friday, all right? At the top of the noon hour, 12:30, somewhere in there. That block, win a $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street here in good old Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay? Call this number. What is that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
We'll bring you live on air. You get 3 questions. I get 3 questions. If we tie, we have a tiebreaker that makes sense. You can win a $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. Even if you lose, somebody from the people is going to win. Be the first person to call in. But while we're waiting for a caller to call in, go ahead and play. It's about a 2-minute soundbite of an interview that is not fully dropped yet of Matt Rhule. So you're getting kind of a sneak peek here, ladies and gentlemen. Him talking about trying to maintain elite standards throughout what he even called mediocre success up to this point. Go ahead and roll that there, Jake.
When you've got a room full of people who have won championships or been part of championship teams, they know what it feels like. They know when it is how it's supposed to be, when it's not how it's supposed to be. The level of competition in practice, the intensity of practice, they've been around it. When you've got players or coaches who haven't necessarily been there and you're trying to explain to them it doesn't look the way it should yet, even though you feel like you're on the right track, I'll know when we get there. Like, what's that conversation like?
It's hard, man.
it's hard to take the practice thing. So I had a player come up to me at the end of this year, great young man on our team. And he's been there for a couple of years. He's like, Coach, you got here. We started doing mat drills. And we started tackling in practice. We started doing all these things. And we were all like, wow, we never worked this hard. We're going to win. He's like, but, we're 5-7 and 6-6. It's the same record. This was right after we lost to Iowa. He goes, this is the same. We're getting the same result with a different thing. And I understand that. I told him, I completely understand. I said, but the only chance we have to get to a CFP team is to do what CFP teams do. And what most people do is they start trying to do it, and then they look around, they're like, hey, it's not really working, is it? No, it's not really working. And they quit, and they give up on their dream. The dream never gives up on you. I don't care if you're an actor. I don't care if you're in sports media. I don't care if you're a football coach, football player. The dream never gives up on you, but most people give up on their dreams. And to me, it's just like when you get to that moment where it feels like, hey, is this working or not? Like just after that Iowa game, and then my D coordinator left and my D-line coach left and a bunch of guys went in the portal, and it feels like, oh no, is this about to fall down? You do what Theo Epstein said when he went to Chicago. You double down. You go all in. You take all your chips and put them in the middle of the table. And you say, no, forget this. I'm not a sheep. I'm not going out like this. And you can't make the players do that. I have no problem explaining why to our players, but I can't justify. I can't be like, no, just trust me. Like they've got to buy into it. And so nothing comes easy, because you know what? Ohio State is working hard. So for us to be working as hard as Ohio State, and they're already 3 levels ahead of us, we're going to be chasing them for a long time. We've got to be willing to do things that maybe they aren't. And I say that with respect to them, because I know Ryan's going to do everything. But like, you got to do things that are so uncomfortable to just have a chance. And when you have your chance, you can't blow it.
We are going to respond to that. But I always say the first person who calls in will bring you on air. We got a caller for Carriker's Trivia Challenge. The one thing I will say, all right, and then we will come back and fully respond to that and play the other clips we've got. Just in the back of your minds while we're doing Carriker's Trivia Challenge, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Be willing to do what other people aren't so you can achieve what they won't. That is what Matt Rhule is trying to get Nebraska, the players, and everyone to buy into. And it takes time. It takes consistency over time. He said Ohio State's 3 levels above us. You could argue, hey, we were right there playing with them. Their record's significantly better, which is why he said that. And it's a fair assessment. But when you're behind and you're just doing what they do, it's going to take time. And honestly, you have to be willing to do what they aren't, as hard as Ryan Day is working, if you want to actually catch up. But we're going to come back to that. All right, we've got a caller for Carriker's Trivia Challenge. Who do we got, Jake?
That's right. If we could have you turn down your radio, Jeremy is on the line with us. Jeremy, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how's it going, my man? You ready for this today? You ready for this on a snowy Monday in February?
Well, we'll give it a try.
You sound very confident.
All right, you can't be too far off their either or questions until our tiebreaker. So we're going to figure out how well you guys remember the Super Bowl. It's been over a week now,
okay.
But we've got some Super Bowl trivia for you guys, and we will start with Jeremy. And, of course, we need some game show music.
I like it.
We're going to do a little bit of a game show here. So here we go, Jeremy. Let's start with you. Did the Chiefs finish with above or below 50 rushing yards?
Could you repeat it? I couldn't.
Yeah.
Well.
So did the Chiefs finish above or below 50 rushing yards? So you choose above or below.
Oh, above.
They actually finished with 49. So that would be below.
That's a tricky question. Oof.
Which team had more penalties in this year's Super Bowl? Was it the Chiefs or the Eagles?
Just for me?
Yeah.
I would say the Chiefs did more penalties.
The Eagles actually had more penalties.
Oh, those stinking refs. I tell you what. They tried to sway it by 40 points. It didn't work.
All right, Jeremy. Final question for you. Who led the Eagles in tackles? Was it Zach Bond or Josh Sweat?
Sweat.
It was actually Zach Bond. So,
oh, my God.
Jeremy, unfortunately,
right.
you're doing about as good as I did with trivia this
I don't
morning.
remember much. That Super Bowl seems like 8 years ago, so your odds are still at least 50-50.
Yeah, so we'll see how Adam does here. Adam, which team finished with more yards per play? Was it the Chiefs or the Eagles?
Chiefs.
That is correct. The Chiefs did. Which team finished with more passing yards, Chiefs or Eagles?
Chiefs.
That's correct as well. And who led the Chiefs in tackles, Nick Bolton or Drew Tranquil?
Bolton.
It was actually Tranquil, but your two correct answers will
The first two
score
were
the
kind of,
victory
those were a
here.
little bit easy. They had no choice but to throw. And of course, they had the big bombs. All right. I appreciate you joining us, Jeremy, but we still play for the people. How can somebody still claim today's prize there, Jake? Thank you for joining us, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Well, even Jeremy, before you hang up, you can also win, but now you want to hang up because caller number one, the first caller, now call in 402-464-5685, will claim that Benjamin Franklin.
All right. 9-4-1. I just want that noted. Need to change that whiteboard score. Yeah,
That's
change
right.
that whiteboard score.
You're
Don't worry. I
officially-
haven't forgotten about you, Rico.
You're
Back there with your
officially-
hands in the air. You're one of that 4. Don't worry. Your day's coming, my friend.
So you're officially to the Bo Pelini threshold, 9-4
Ooh.
and 1. There we go.
You going to fire me? Oh,
no.
I shouldn't have put that out there.
If you do that 7 years in a row, maybe.
Ooh.
No.
All right. So, I love Carriker's trivia. I legit have no idea what the topic's going to be. At least during the season, I knew it was always the upcoming opponent because I put that together after about the third week, and then they're in the college football playoff. Like, it's the time of the year where I have no idea what it's going to be. So I love it. It's unpredictable. It's fun. Mondays, Fridays, in that noon hour. Back to the Matt Rhule clip. All right. So he's talking about getting players to buy in. It hasn't worked yet. The record is the same. We're doing all these things we haven't done before. It's still hard for me to say this out loud. We're tackling in practice now when we didn't used to. All right, we're doing mat drills, and there's always different variations of what mat drills may or may not be. Apparently what Rhule is doing is harder than what Frost did, okay, which aligns with pretty much what we have heard. Not a shot, just is what it is. 2 + 2 = 4. So my point is simply this. The players are kind of like, well, the record is the same. It takes time. There's a filtering out process, first and foremost. I love Bullock and Robinson and those guys and Ramir frickin' Johnson. Okay, but there's also a little bit of a filtering out process and then a starting over process and a re-education process with players. And I nothing but love and respect. Like I just listed probably my 3 favorite players on last year's team. Guys that I have talked about like a lot because I am a fan of them and I respect them. But there comes a point where it's easier to teach somebody from a blank chalkboard than to erase everything they've been learning for 2 or 3 years and start over. Does that make sense, Jake? Kind of what I'm saying? And so you kind of got to start over and then you got to build up and then you're playing catch up. When he didn't talk about 8-9 wins. Matt Rhule is all in on this year 3 jump. He said CFP. If you don't know, that means college football playoff contention. That's what he is looking for. Sooner rather than later. Of course, that's what everybody's looking for. But we just made a bowl game for the first time in 18 years. So it's kind of like, oh, that's a jump in a ×3, I think. But it's not impossible. Look at Indiana. Talked about that before. My point is simply what Matt Rhule's trying to do is get people to buy into the process and understand that there is a process within the process, and then it takes time. And you've got to show up day in and day out consistently. I don't even try to bring up the word consistency, and it just comes up because it is such a huge thing. On a day like today, and everybody's got their own thing. Like, I'm like, I got to leave 10 minutes early to get into the ticket. There's going to be days when you've got to maybe do it remote or do it something like that, or something comes up, but I'm like, nope, I got to adjust my day so I can be in studio. It means something to be in studio to me. I love interacting with Jake personally. I love those things. And to each their own. Everybody's different, but there's something about consistency despite what's in front of you. I will be honest with you, and it almost worked to my detriment. I would see what everybody else was doing, and if I didn't do at least what everybody else was doing, it drove me nuts. That was just me staying on par with everybody. The workouts that we were given, no. That wasn't what I was going to do. That was the bare minimum. In my obsessive compulsive OCD player mind, the workouts that we were given, no. That's the bare minimum. Now when everybody else is done working out, I'm going to go to East Campus, which my wife knows and a few people know, not a lot of people, and then I'm going to get my advantage. Then I'm going to get my edge. That was just me. I spent a lot of time in that East Campus weight room or at the local, not the Y, what's it called? Where everybody could use the weight room.
Rec?
The rec center. I'd go over there, not as often. It was more private, more secluded at East Campus, less people. And not everybody has to be that way. That was me. And it almost worked to my detriment because I almost became OCD about certain things. And sometimes you just got to let things fall where they may. Okay, like you put in everything you can. Now just go out and leave it all on the line. So for me, it is coming back to a process over an extended period of time. You are behind to begin with as a program. You're trying to compete with teams that are ahead of you. Yes, what you're doing is harder. What you're doing is more difficult. You should expect to win games. But if you think it's going to come easy and soon and in the short term, with all due respect, it's an easy trap to fall into, but it's short-sighted. You have to be willing to do it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And the people who are willing to do that, again, people who are willing to do what other people aren't will achieve what other people won't. But it's consistency over time. It's why I respect a guy like Tom Brady so much. The fire that he still had. He talked about he was more nervous for that 7th Super Bowl than he was his first Super Bowl. The one with Tampa versus the one they beat with the Rams when Bledsoe got hurt. Part of that was just he had more awareness of how big of a deal it was as an older player than he did as a younger player. But the consistency over time is crazy to me. If people want to argue that Stone Cold Steve Austin, not to go all pro wrestling on you, is the greatest of all time, cool. I'm going to go. As much as people dislike Hogan or like Hogan or whatever, it's Hogan. It's consistency over time. 80s, 90s, good guy, bad guy, faction, solo run. Nobody was ever as white hot for a short period of time as Steve Austin. Nobody. But it wasn't anywhere near as extended over time with as many variations as Hogan. I know a lot of people just tuned out because I brought up pro wrestling, but most people know those two names, which is why I brought it up. So to me, I think that's what Rhule's talking about. You've got to train guys, you got to get guys to buy in, and you've got to show up day in and day out, and you've got to be willing to embrace the journey. You've got to embrace the suck. I will never forget my rookie year. Oh my God, I was so sore and beat up in camp. They moved me inside to nose guard. I was a rookie. So I'm learning a new position. They traded away the previous year's starter. So I had no choice but to start. Of course, I wanted to. But I would take reps with the first team, the second team, and the third team because I had to be ready to go game one. I'm watching James Hall, Leroy Glover, Leonard Little, the other 3 starters. They'd be in 3 reps, they'd be out. That was not me. I'm not complaining. They had to get me ready. But I was so beat up and exhausted. Now, I remember, it's hot in St. Louis. They'd come on the radio, hey, keep your dogs inside. It's not safe for them to be outside. We'd be outside scrimmaging. Those 3 guys had earned the right. Borderline Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, 10-year vet. That's the accolades of the other 3 starters. And then here comes this snot-nosed rookie learning a new position who's too light in his britches to be a nose guard, so he's got to get better sooner rather than later because we traded the previous year's starter. And we don't even know who his backup's going to be. And so I turned on Hard Knocks that year, and it was the Cowboys. And Tony Romo was talking about, because somebody asked him, if you could just zoom ahead, if you knew you could make the Super Bowl, you could just zoom ahead to the Super Bowl, would you do it? He said, no. You've got to embrace the journey. You've got to embrace the suck. And I thought that was the worst thing I'd ever heard in that moment. I wanted nothing to do with that statement. Keep in mind, I was battered, and it was a tough time, all right? But he was right. You've got to embrace the journey. You've got to embrace the suck. You've got to enjoy the ups. You've got to enjoy the downs, and you've got to show up the next day and the next day and the next day. You celebrate the good days. You have each other's backs through the hard times, and you show up the next day. I know that doesn't mesh with the transfer portal and the way certain things are viewed, and the transfer portal has its pluses and its minuses, okay? But that's what I take away from what Matt Rhule had to say in his clip. And I know we're running long again on this segment. I still want to play the Maddox clip because it does relate about looking to things long-term, having a long-term plan. All right, the Greg Maddox clip, and then Donovan Edwards. There are things about Nebraska that are unique. Everyone wants to talk about all these challenges. Well, Devaney and Osborne did it for over 40 years. Look at what Cook did. Look at what Manning's done with the wrestling program. Look at all these coaches that have done it in various ways, various sports, various types of coaches. There are unique things about Nebraska that give us an advantage. We're going to play those clips, But before we go to the break, what are your thoughts on the Rhule clip, my reaction, and then we'll head to break?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was intrigued by a few different things. One, that Matt Rhule didn't include the bowl game when he was talking about it. He said my teams went 5-7 and 6-6. So I think that somewhat gives you an idea that there is the standard or the hope that they can get to. They're focused on getting whatever it is, 9, 10, 11 wins in the regular season. And then once you get there, deal with it there. And then just the comparison to Ohio State. That's interesting too. And it might have worked in Nebraska's favor that they won the championship. So that is the team to compare to. But the fact that Nebraska maybe had these mediocre results, but was leading the national champion in the fourth quarter should tell his team, hey, we still got a long ways to go, but you guys know as well as we do, we can play with those guys.
Yeah, we had the lead with 7 minutes to go. Think about that. All right. Is there anything from the text line? I know we got to get to break. Is there anything from the text line? All right, we come back. Text line, couple of clips. We'll keep chatting about this, and then we'll end the show today. The NBA All-Star Game, Steph Curry was the MVP, but the slam dunk competition, is it back? I got to be honest with you. The guy who won it, Mac McClung, has won 3 of them, and all 4 of his dunks got 50s. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Mulberry Barbecue now has a brand new second location to help all your lunch and dinner cravings. Stop by their newest location at 6125 Apples Way near Lowe's off of Highway 2. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burn-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Mulberry Barbecue open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway, and now at 6125 Apples Way in South Lincoln.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Abby with Midwest Bank. Stop by our new location at 70th and Pioneers. Our new full-service branch does it all. From our friendly staff to our easy online banking and mobile app, you get all the technology of a big bank that you need, but you still get the hometown customer service that you want. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So Terrell Farley just stuck his head in here. I'm sitting here in shorts, all right? And he goes, where are you from? What's wrong with you? Like, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you I like snow and I like cold weather, I am not joking. All right, now, he about set himself, what did he say, about set his tights on fire for the Oklahoma game in 95, 96. He was sitting next to the heater so close or whatever. I'll leave that for him to share on his show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the topic at hand. And we almost forgot this. How in the world did we forget this? Can you imagine taking a 106-mile-per-hour baseball off the face? Ooh. Tucker Timmerman. Dude, that is Nebraska tough if I've ever seen it. And I will tell you what, Nebraska baseball pitcher, the ball came back at him 106 miles an hour. All right. He's okay, doing all right. If you've seen the pictures, he's the best-looking man in the state of Nebraska as far as I'm concerned right now. But that's crazy to me. What did you think when you saw that?
Oh man, that's what when he asked me what I wanted to be, like which pitcher I wanted to be, I thought that's where you were going.
That's what you thought of?
I was like, yeah, maybe I just don't want to be a pitcher.
Yeah, he's all right. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, he's doing all right. I was always, remember Jim Abbott growing up? He had like the one hand. He was missing his right hand. He was a left-handed pitcher. He'd throw with his left hand, and he would like set his glove on where his wrist is, where his hand should have been. He'd balance it, and he'd pitch, and he'd immediately, after he threw the ball, grab the mitt, and he'd be ready. He never had any issues as far as fielding or whatever, because he could then field the ball, take the mitt off real quick, and throw it with his left hand, even though the mitt was on the left hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because he was one of my favorite players growing up. All right, let's get back. People from the text line. What are their thoughts on what Matt Rhule had to say, etc.?
What Blanket chimes in says, and if Nebraska holds on against Ohio State doesn't make the playoff. They're not the national champion. Difference between championships and disappointing seasons can be very small.
Dude, and those differences are made in January, February, and March. All right. Anything else?
Oh, that's it for now.
All right. Let's go ahead. So part of this is seeing the long-term picture. Now, baseball is a little bit different than footballs. We know there's several things that are different between the sports, but as far as competing at a high level, a championship level, as far as seeing the long-term picture, and if anybody remembers Greg Maddux, I remember the Braves were actually my favorite team growing up. Don't worry, I've adopted the Royals now that we're back in Lincoln. All right. I grew up in the state of Washington, so it was like Griffey, A-Rod, Jay Buhner, Randy Johnson, Edgar Martinez, Joey Kerr. I wasn't a fan at all, but they weren't as good then. Okay, so I always, throughout the summer, the Cubs were always on WGN, never bought into the Cubs, but the Braves were on TBS every day, so I always watched the Braves. Chipper Jones, Fred Smoltz, all those guys, all right? John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, I love those dudes, okay? And Greg Maddux, those mid-'80s, maybe upper 80s, okay? Him and Tom Glavine played like 20 years, by the way, but three of the best pitchers in the entire league. Smoltz could actually throw in the 90s, but Greg Maddux was the ultimate mastermind. He could pinpoint pitches. He could keep you off balance, the changeup, the fastball, the curve. He could place it exactly where he wanted. He would throw this pitch to set up the next pitch. He would throw the pitch in this at-bat to set up the next at-bat. What I didn't realize is that he would think ahead 4 months, and he would allow a home run in the regular season to set up something in the playoffs. When people say you're playing chess and someone else is playing checkers, this dude was playing like elevated 3D level of genius chess while everybody else was playing checkers. Go ahead and play that clip there, Jake.
Season, and we were winning like 8-0. It was easy game in the 8th inning. And he told me, don't throw anything inside on Bagwell. Call everything outside.
This is his catcher talking, his catcher.
I think it was somebody out. And he wants to go inside. And okay, it's your game. So I went inside, called inside. Bagwell hit like 1,000-mile.
Oh, boy. Bagwell way back.
And I was mad. And I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, they got a good team. We got a good team. We're going to play them in the playoff. He's going to wait for that pitch. 3 months later, we're in the playoff. Bases loaded in the 7th. We threw 3 straight changes and struck him out.
Low and away. The pitches were low and away when he struck him out.
I was walking to the dugout. He goes, hey. And I look at him. He said, you remember 3 months ago, 2 months ago? And I said, no, I don't. He was looking for that pitch, the homer that he hit. And I was like, this guy.
I think here's remember success. So they're not going to remember getting the ball up and in and that they pop up as opposed to the home run that they hit off you, last month. And knowing the hitter is more likely to remember that pitch he hit out of you, then that's one pitch you're probably not going to throw him for the rest of his career. So that's kind of how I looked at it.
So that was Greg talking at the end. He literally told his catcher, that was his catcher that was talking at the beginning, Greg at the end. He literally told his catcher, I'm not going to throw anything up and in. Then Bagwell, if you remember him, one of the best power hitters in his day, comes up to the plate. I don't know what the situation in the game was, but apparently he didn't mind giving up a home run. Maybe the Braves had a big lead. I don't know. Tells the catcher, we're going to go up and in. Gives up a home run. Knew what was going to happen. The catcher's mad. What are you doing? He goes, they're really good. We're really good. We're going to play again in a few months, and he's going to look for that pitch, and I'm going to kill him low and away. And that's exactly what he did. If you see the clip, we played the audio. If you see the clip, it's 3 straight changeups, low and away. And you could see Bagwell almost like just anticipating that up and in pitch that he could take yard again, and he strikes out. Why this equates to Matt Rhule is because it's about the long-term plan, the long-term goal. Being willing to absorb the ups and the downs, being willing to think about the whole process, being willing to look ahead and absorb the suck in the meantime. For what we're hoping all for, starting with Matt Rhule, is improvement, a good football team, and hopefully someday a team that can compete for a college football playoff spot and be in the CFP, especially once they start letting 43 teams in this thing. But that's, again, the topic for tomorrow. All right, Jake, don't try to lead me down that road already today. But to me, when I heard this, it was like literally, I think I sent that clip to you, and then I heard the Rhule clip, and I just thought that was a cool clip of Maddux, and I'm like, boom, this connects with the Rhule clip as far as seeing things long-term, as far as playing 3D elevated chess versus playing regular chess versus playing checkers. Now, will we get more wins in the fall? Will we get more wins this fall, next fall? We'll see if it actually pans out. But there's a reason like with Pelini, my former DC, there were things that I saw. I was like, it's just not going to work out. I didn't have an issue with him being let go. Okay. With Riley, loved Riley, but there was just things football-wise that I was like, I don't think it's the right fit based on the expectations we have. With Frost, things he would say from the podium, I was just like, oh my. And then I had a couple conversations with him. I was just like, oh my God, what is this? And so for me, there's a reason why Rhule's record is not where we want it to be yet. We had improvements and breakthroughs last year in certain things, okay? But there's a reason I'm like, I like certain things. And things that he says and things he's trying to achieve. And I don't just believe it's lip service. As good as he is at public speaking, last fall, I would literally sit here and be like, all right, I gotta figure out where the line is between this guy being really good as a speaker at a press conference and what really matters the most, because that was hard to figure out sometimes. Sometimes it was a little bit easier. You remember me talking about that, right, Jake? And so for me, what I hear Matt Rhule saying, what he's trying to build, and conversations that I've had with him, aside from things you hear publicly, I love his vision. I love his conviction. I love what he's trying to do. Will it work? I don't know. It depends on the amount of people that are willing to buy into what he's bought in and he's trying to get them to buy into, which is a long-term vision and plan. Day in and day out, consistency over time. Does that all kind of come together and make sense in your mind, what I'm trying to say there, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. It is about that long-term play, but it is interesting that, you know, in Matt Rhule has, you know, great way to speak about it. He's brought two teams this exact path, a kind of bad first season, middle second season, then the third season it breaks out. But I'm just so interested because this time around, different coordinator, just a lot of change going into that third season. But it does feel like and look like the team is improving, and the expectations, I think, are going to rise this year because of that.
So that's the question, because it is different. First of all, the Big Ten is different than the AAC. It's different than the Big 12. It's not even a close margin at this point. The Big Ten and SEC are just on a whole nother level right now. Okay. So it's a different level. Can he get it done at this level? Also, for the most part, he had guys staying around as coaches, and he didn't have to deal with the transfer portal. So there are things that are different, but I think he's trying to adjust and navigate this. And every coach learns in the process, and I think he's learning, but I think he's willing to look in the mirror. If you've heard what I said about some previous coaches, I've said, do you own a mirror? Are you willing to look at it? Until you do that, you're not going to get better. And I would be nervous if you were the coach of my team. He's willing to look in the mirror, and he's willing to try to get better and call himself out on it and own it. And those are some of the things that I respect about him. Let's play, this will be quick. Let's play the Donovan Edwards clip. And Travis Hunter basically said something incredibly similar after Colorado had played in Lincoln versus Nebraska this past fall.
Which stadium did you play in that had the most energy?
Nebraska night game.
Really?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I like the music at the end. Basically, the first part of the clip was what mattered the most. That's Donovan Edwards. All right, former Michigan running back. Now, this is a guy who's played in national championship games, who's played in college football playoff games, the Rose Bowl versus Alabama, Ohio State, Penn State, day games, night games. He said Nebraska, and he said it wasn't even close. And Travis Hunter said basically he'd never experienced an atmosphere like he experienced when they played at Nebraska in Lincoln earlier this fall. There are things about Nebraska that are unique, that are special. Outsiders will tell you, you live in a bubble, you live in the 90s. You need to move on with your life is what they'll tell you. And I'll say, well, I've moved on with my life, but there are things that just haven't changed. And Nebraska has the ability, the potential. They offer certain things that other places don't. And this is a guy who's been a lot of places, played in a lot of big games, talking about, I've never experienced anything like Nebraska's atmosphere game at night. And you got to remember that Michigan game from 2 or 3 years ago. I think Scott Frost was actually the head coach in that game. But to me, there's light at the end of the tunnel. We just got to embrace the process, and hopefully Matt Rhule's the guy to get us to the light at the end of that tunnel. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Attention all wing fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Fear's Cheese Spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Fear's Cheese Spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fear's Cheese Spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table. Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Attention! For the entire month of February, Acres has John Deere packaged oil and filters for 15% off. John Deere engineers its oil filters specifically for large ag equipment and commercial and residential mowers. With premium materials, these filters meet the unique demands of your farm and acreage. Following a strict maintenance routine with premium John Deere oil and filters ensures your equipment will run efficiently for years. Visit your local Acres store to start shopping today.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We got about 4 minutes. Now, Nate Robinson, until Mac McClung, the only 3-time winner of the NBA slam dunk competition. I'm going to talk about him tomorrow because he's gone through an incredibly inspirational story. Plus, I know the guy. All right. And I didn't have the best impression of him in high school when we played against each other, but we'll save that story for tomorrow because it's quite inspirational. All right. But NBA All-Star Saturday night, Mac McClung thrills in a dunk contest three-peat with 450 dunks. So basically 4 perfect dunks. All right. He jumped over the car, took it out of a person's hand, jumped over the car, and reverse slammed it. Then the person who was holding the ball was like spinning. He took it, dunked that ball. Another person was on a ladder holding a second ball. He dunked that ball. Like, the dunk contest is something that I kind of forgot about. I think it's back. If you ask me, it is back. It's hard to be creative. It's hard to do things never done before, and he's done it. And it's hard to do it for a third time, and he did it for a third time. This is my favorite slam dunk competition that he has ever won. Now, I just want to put this out there. Last night, would you tell me they had the fastest white guy in America on here on the ticket? Was that what you told me? All right, Cooper DeJean, Mac McClung, representing, baby. I don't know if I can throw strikes if I'm the closer in a baseball game, but they are representing. I like it. All right, and if I get fined for that, I'm sending that to you, Jake. You said I could say that. All right. Now, the interesting thing is he's only played in 5 NBA games, and he's won 3 slam dunk competitions. So
That's right.
is he going to keep going? And hopefully he gets his NBA career going in general. He's a fun guy to watch, a lot of charisma. And here's my question for you. Couple parts, real quick. All right. Heinrich Carberg.
Do you think he could compete in the NBA slam dunk competition? He won it here at Nebraska's football slam dunk competition. Frankly, I thought he did pretty good. How do you think he'd do? Well, they got to bring a car out. I mean, that's the level he's got to get to. So, I mean, I'd be intrigued. We'll put it that way. Can he do a reverse 360 between the legs? Got to leave behind the 3-point line over a car. I don't think so. This is like the Space Jams movie when Michael's arm extends 20 feet to dunk it at one point in that movie or something like that. All right, last thing before we get out of here. Greatest dunkers of all time. And where does Mac McClung rank on your list, Jake? Man, he's got to be up there now. Again, I don't know if it's within the rules. All these other guys actually played the NBA, but you think of the 5 games. Yeah, 5 games. But that doesn't compare to kind of Michael Jordan or Dominique Wilkins or Vince Carter. I mean, those are names that I think are unanimous with the dunk contest. Blake Griffin certainly could be in there, but he's getting an argument maybe to be after those names. I'd probably say to be starting to be mentioned. I mean, like you said, only a 3-time winner in a row. So who is on your Mount Rushmore of dunkers? For me, I'll just go quick. Jordan, McClung. 1, 2 right out the gate. Wilkins, Carter. Those are my 4. Although it's asinine not to put Nate Robinson on there. Right. Okay, I'm biased against smaller guys because it looks more impressive for them to do the same thing that a taller guy does because there's just more air under their feet. So I'm going to be biased against him because he has an advantage of how it looks because he's smaller, even though he was phenomenal. All right, who's on your Mount Rushmore of dunkers? I'd probably go with, like you, a pretty similar list, to be honest. Wilkins, Jordan, Griffin, and I probably would leave McClung out because I am frustrated about the fact that he doesn't play in the NBA and he's just brought up for these slam dunks. So if you had to go, I'd probably go Zach LaVine next there. I forgot about Zach LaVine. That's a good one right there. You got him on a technicality. Yes. You got him on a technicality. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a phenomenal Monday. Enjoy the snow. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, West Ham plays Brentford at 9 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Everton at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Liverpool plays Wolves at 8 a.m., followed by Tottenham versus